tells me about your word on Sundays. I never go, but tell them I'll go with them one day. They say you have the answers I've been longing for, but somehow I don't feel like I'm on one accord with you. I believe you have something for me alone. Humbly, Lord, how do I approach the throne? Cause all I have to offer, Lord, is it enough? I give you my trust. I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dried the eyes of many, healed more hearts, love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Hey, hey. Is there room for me? Oh, no. I heard how you saved Daniel from the lion's den and stayed with Jonah in the well he was within. I need the protection. I know I'm not worthy. I'm in a state of desperation, Lord, I need that mercy. I believe you have something for me alone. Humbly, Lord, how do I approach the throne? Cause all I have to offer, Lord, is it enough? I give you my trust. I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dried the eyes of many, healed more hearts, love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room for me? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Is there room for me? Tell me, is there room? Hey, hey. Is there room for me? You're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Can you take me in? I heard you won't dry the eyes of many, heal more hearts, love for plenty. Can you take me in? Take me in. I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Can you take me in? I heard you dry the eyes of many, heal my heart. Can you take me in? I heard you're a miracle worker, graceful healer for sinner. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? I have heard you dried the eyes of many, heal more hearts, love for plenty. Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me? Can you take me in? Is there room for me? Is there room for me?
You're listening to Launch with Kim
and Dr. Newt
on Praise.fm.
Your charger.
I don't know if it's going
Oh, we live. We live.
No.
Oh, we live.
Five.
We messed up, y'all. We was never late.
Hello, everybody. We got excited. We was over here singing and doing all kind of stuff, and we realized that we just realized that we are live. So hello, live. Now
So
remember, Rick's
Welcome to Launch
with Kim
and Dr. Newt.
We hope that you guys had a wonderful holiday,
wonderful,
Christmas,
wonderful.
or whatever you celebrate. Whatever
Yes.
we hope you had a
Yes.
great time with your family.
Yes.
I hope we celebrated our Lord and Savior, because that's what we believe.
Yes.
So I hope you celebrated that, and I hope that you had a great time with your family and a nice break.
Yes.
because that's
A
so
little bit of rest, a
important.
little bit of rest. You gotta take a breather.
Yes.
Gotta take a breather. You know.
Hi, Lynn
Let
Webb.
your breathe.
Hello, Prophet Pastor Robert Clay. Hello. Please share.
Right.
Please share. We are just so glad to be on tonight. We were so busy today.
Yeah, it was a little busy day,
we didn't have
busy
any
day.
time to sit down. I feel like I was
Little bit
standing
busy.
up and going about all day long,
That's
like
all right.
all day.
That's all right. This is a good way to end the day.
I mean, but we're not done. The day is still going on. We're actually renovating our house, so we are like getting rid of old cabinets,
So that
dishwasher.
means she's telling you she's gonna make me do some more work after this.
It's not over yet. So yeah, we just been going in and out all day long. So yeah, so I was like thinking, man, the time is going so fast, but it's all good. It's all good.
Right.
So hello to you guys.
Welcome.
Hope you guys are having a great day. If not, make it a great day right now. Let's start. Let's start
Make
with
it
a great day
Make
right
it a
now.
great day.
Let it be great now. Let it be great now.
Or not.
Parents, what's going on with you and your children? What things have you been doing over this break? I hope you've been engaging them, because they're spending a lot of time on their computer. So hopefully you're doing some other, hand and one-on-one activities and, hand and mind activities, and not just them sitting on their computers working on technology. What happens with that is they just get burnt out after a while sitting at that computer.
Right.
I know with me doing my Ami's World, after a while I'm like, okay, I have to get up from the seat.
Yes.
So just a reminder, parents, from the teacher and me, just letting you know, get outside, do something, take them for a walk, do something where their hands on mind on, change the scenery. Absolutely.
Right.
And just another thing, I don't know why I feel like I need to say this, but for those of you, make sure that the environment that they're actually learning in that, if they're in their house with their technology, make sure it's conducive for learning and fun.
Right.
It has to be exciting for kids to be excited about learning. So just take time out to do that.
Yes.
And comfortable.
Yes.
So important.
Yeah.
So look, Newt and I are both educators, so that is like extremely important to us.
I'm like resisting the urge to say like things as she's talking.
No, don't resist the urge.
We can just talk about that.
Yes, because that's who we
That's
are.
what we do. Yeah, it's a gift.
But for
And a
those of you who are coming in, we ask that you share.
Please do.
Please share.
Please share.
For those of you who know, Newt and I actually wrote our book. It's behind him, Baggage Claim. So if you
Baggage
did
Claim.
not get the Baggage Claim book,
It's
hi,
available on Amazon. It's
hi,
available on Amazon. You
Elder
can get the
Betty Rose.
on
Oh my
Amazon.
goodness, I haven't seen you in
book.
years.
She'll change midstream in a sentence.
Well, I'm just greeting the people who are in. Hi, Lynn Webb.
So
Thank
the sentence
you.
she was trying to finish, she started was, you can get our book on Amazon.
Yes, you can get our
Just-
book on
Just go
Amazon.
ahead and type it in, Baggage Claim, either Newton Miller or Baggage Claim Marriage, or Baggage Claim Kim Miller.
Yeah, it'll come up on
and
either
you'll
of
see
ours.
it on there, and you'll see the picture of the book right here behind us. So we urge you to go ahead and grab that.
Thank you.
At your convenience. So you want to say hi? You got people to say hi to?
I just said thank you to her because she said she's blessed and she's happy for us. Hi.
Excellent.
So that's somebody who's still calling me Kimmy.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Back in
that's
the day.
old school. But
Back
you
in
know,
the
you
days.
can call me Kimmy. It's funny because
The brothers had weight.
only certain people who know me back in the, who know that, say that. So that just lets me know how well you know me, Lynn. Thank you.
Right.
So for those of you who are married, or getting ready to get married, engaged, thinking about marriage, or in a relationship, and you are noticing some turbulence.
Right.
Turbulence. So if you have a friend or a family member that you know who is experiencing turbulence in their relationship, please have them come to the broadcast tonight, because it is a season for, what do they call it? Hunting season. On marriages. The enemy is out to get and to destroy marriages. He knows that two together can do so many. Like the scripture says, two can chase 10,000, put 10,000 to flight. So when there are two of you, there is so much more that you can do.
Right.
So when you, if you are married and you are experiencing any kind of turbulence and difficulty in your relationship, please come to the broadcast tonight, or share this for people who see it later. Don't think it's strange.
It's a season for it.
It is.
And you got to kind of understand, if you understand anything about warfare, the strategy that happens in warfare, just from my learned, little time in the Marines, is that there's always more than one strike happening at the same time.
So true.
So there's different we want to call them lieutenants or whatever, the captains or whatever, and their their squad or their regiment is going to have a different assignment in the same war.
Interesting.
So understanding, and there's a lot going on. You got coronavirus, you got things happening in our government, you have things happening as far as race relations and social conditions and poverty, and all those things are touching people's lives with houses and homes and things being lost and all those kind of things. So another line of attack right now are marriages.
Absolutely.
Marriages, because in that marriage you can also have a man waive his identity.
Come on.
Because of things that might take place or not take place in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a woman turn her back from relationships with men and mistrust and things like that. You can have children now say, I never want to have a family or be married.
All because of this here.
So this is a key attack, and it makes sense because of what's going on just in the world, period. That there's going to be several smaller attacks that don't seem as large. Everyone's focusing on corona while your family's falling apart.
Wow.
So just kind of wanted to put that out there to you.
For those of you dealing with turbulence, if you think about the word turbulence, you have to think about when you're in an aircraft. Oh, thank you, babe. When you're in an airplane and you are experiencing that shaking or the pockets, you hit the air pockets and well, I'm just telling them what it looks like, those air pockets, and like the shaking and the rumbling, and you feel yourself bumping and knocking. If you are experiencing that in your relationship, that is what we're talking about, turbulence, those things that just cause some movement, some shifting, some bumping, some, just some clashing.
Getting on each other's nerves more than ever.
Something that's irritating you.
Super sensitive stuff. Just different examples. I don't know, things with finances that might.
Finances is big right now.
How differences in how you want to communicate with the children, or other family members, or what it is you want to do with or for other family members. Just those things, and they cause clashes in your relationship right now. Those are all part of the strategy.
Yes.
To plant a seed. To cause a cancer that's going to grow.
Absolutely.
If it's not addressed. So that's why we've been trying to talk about marriage the last couple of shows.
Well, I feel like what we talked about last week about the gold is still relevant, because it's a burning out process that's happening in your life and in your relationship, and what you see floating to the top are all the things that God is trying to show you about you. And so, when we minister about marriages, we always talk about your own personal situation and how there is no magic potion, there is no snap fix it, there is no ingredient that makes a marriage work outside of the ingredient that you need for yourself and the one that you need for you. That is when they come together and can create something as beautiful as a covenant relationship. But you must, first of all, address your own issues. And so that's why I feel like the gold in the fire is so important. So let's talk about that turbulence. Let's talk about that gold in the fire. Let's talk about you. So it's so, in marriage or in relationships, it is so easy to look at the other person and find fault, because you really cannot see yourself unless you look in a mirror. We see ourselves only when we look in mirrors. But when we look outside of ourselves, we see other people. Our normal view. Absolutely. And so it's easy to see what someone else is doing wrong, or they're not doing to suit or meet your need. The unfortunate part is that we miss so quickly what we've done or what we've done and what we've added to that situation. I mean, just easy, you know what I mean?
I'm smiling because I'm not sure if it's always I missed it.
Well, you're right. It might not be.
I just didn't want to see it.
Well, so that's why I said it's easy for us to miss. But you're right, Newt. We on purpose, many times we close our eyes to it. But I think in the beginning, we just can't see it.
But thank you for that.
You know, so I'm
Full
giving
of
you
confidence in
I'm giving you an out. But in the beginning, at first, when we're looking at someone else, that's all we see. We
Right.
just see them,
Yeah.
and we see what they're not doing.
Right.
And then we can feel. So that's the other part. We see and feel. We see what they're not doing, and we feel what we're lacking, what we're not getting. And immediately we say, because you did this, this is happening.
So can I say something about
Sure.
that? So no one can make you feel any way.
That's true.
You have to choose or accept that
That's a
feeling.
fact.
That feeling that you get, whatever takes place,
Mhm.
is a choice. It's something you accept. It's something that you've decided to allow to happen within you.
Yeah.
Now things trigger that.
Mhm.
So something triggers something in you, but you are now, once that action takes place, we're gonna call it a stimulus
Mhm.
or an
Mhm.
antecedent.
Mhm.
Once that thing takes place, the behavior or the feeling that you have is 100% your choice.
Mhm.
If you're not conscious of that, then the action will control you.
Yeah.
So my father always said to me, son, he who angers you,
Owns you.
right? I know he didn't make that up, but he always said it. So you got to watch your temper. Why? Because that action that they do or that's happening can now dictate your next choices and your next behaviors.
And then let's look a little further. Why is it that you're so bothered by that action?
Ooh, that's a good.
You know, looking a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, if Newt doesn't put the bread tie on the bread, now that doesn't bother me. I'm just making that up. But why is it that would irritate me so much?
I think that I'll put it back.
No, I don't do it. I hate putting the bread tie on. But why is it that bothers me so much? Where is that coming from?
Right.
Was that something that happened in your childhood that your parent, you had to do? That, you know, your family said you had to do when you were a child?
Right. I
You
give
know?
you a good one. Leaving the door open when it's cold outside. You know, we want to heat the outside. That's what my father said that to me all the time.
Yeah.
My mother and father, you know. So I'll shut the door, like you know, we're coming back in 30 seconds.
Mhm.
You know, why is that bothering me so much? Where's it come from? Is that even mine?
Right. That's
that
what
even
we were
mine?
talking about, the molding
With the potter's wheel.
with the potter's wheel last week, because what happens is what we've been molded to accept, and you know,
Right.
we now then have that expectation
Right.
on
Right.
somebody else
Right.
to
Right.
to follow
Right.
that,
Right.
and they don't have nothing to do with that. That's your stuff. So we are so quick and so easy to get upset about those little things without asking ourselves, why is it that I want that so bad? Why do I want what I want? Number one. And why does that little thing bother me to the
so
point
much, yeah.
where I am like, now I'm furious with them? I was listening to somebody teach, and she was saying how it's funny how some women, when a woman or a man gets so upset that now they're like, oh, I'm not even going in the room with them. I'm not talking to them. Why is it that we get so mad that we have even cut off the communication with that person?
Right.
Now, here's the trick. The enemy now, he causes little turbulence. There's all little tiny things that's bothering you that person did unknowingly most times, because they don't even know that they did something.
Right.
And now, okay, so you got two things. The turbulence, now you got that little tiny thing that they did, now it's irritating you.
Right.
And then the third thing is now the communication. Now you decided, oh, he did that, I ain't talking.
That
So
is-
now there's no communication. Right, there's the wall. And there's nobody talking to each other,
Yeah.
which now is not even turbulence. Now there's almost a whole crash.
Right.
We're plummeting down
So
now.
now the pilot and the co-pilot
Mm-hmm.
are doing two different things,
Yeah.
trying to fly the same plane.
Trying to fly the same plane.
So we're causing
Mhm.
mechanical failure.
Mechanical failure. And so now you're wondering what's happening in your relationship. Now guess what? You get nothing done. Whatever it is, your goal that you guys have established is not happening. There's no communication, which means now you're talking to yourself
Ooh, that's dangerous.
in your mind.
That's dangerous because
You
I
start
can
exactly
have a hour-long
a
conversation.
whole conversation. I don't know if you've ever done it before, where you've been in the mirror, you were mad, you was talking, and you was
Justifying
telling them all,
everything.
justifying yourself. So there is the enemy's playground, because now you've got an idle mind. It's not focused, it's not connected, it's not in covenant. Now it's idle.
And that's someone who's semi-disciplined.
Wow.
So someone who's
That's
not
good.
so disciplined,
Mhm.
they're not going to just talk to themselves.
Mhm.
They done called their girlfriends, their boys, their first cousin, and told their side of the story.
Yeah.
And now you got a whole people who love you or care about you, and that's a whole nother time. We talked about
Right.
we talked about types of relationships,
Mhm.
true
The
confidants.
confidants. Yeah.
We got that from Tony Miller, and I heard Ron Carpenter. I also heard TD Jakes speak that. So with that information, but anyway, those people, are now going to tell you something to make you feel good right now, because that's their purpose in your life, right?
Right.
And the thing they're telling you to make you feel good right now is damaging in the long run
Exactly.
for your marriage or your relationship or your example to your children or whatever it is you're building together.
Mhm. And that outside person that you went to, now they have to, if they're not disciplined enough, if they're not spirit-led, if they're not discerning enough, then they create this feeling or thought about the person you've talked to them about. And now they have negative
Yes.
thoughts and words about
Right.
that person.
Right.
So now you just told them, now they're fueling.
Now you just multiply.
You multiplied
You were
it.
fruitful.
Isn't that the
And
truth?
you multiplied.
And you multiplied it. But you multiplied a bad fruit.
Yes.
So now whenever you go to them about something positive about that person, all they remember is that negative. Yeah, but is she still doing that? Or is he still doing that?
Right.
We have to be so careful.
Yes.
So we have to think, okay, what am I doing? Number one, why is this bothering me? This is just turbulence. Guess what the pilot says? Put your seatbelt on, stay in your seats. We'll be through it soon.
Yep.
We're going to get through it soon.
And here, can I say something?
Yes, please.
So our daughter is a flight attendant.
She is.
And she told us something that I didn't know.
Mhm.
That turbulence will not cause a plane to crash.
That's right. Not turbulence.
Not turbulence.
I'm so glad you mentioned that news. Yeah, that's right.
It'll make a rough road.
Yeah.
It'll make a rough ride because it's still air.
That's
and the plane
so
flies
good.
on something called lift.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as the air is under the wings, lift is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happens that these are knots of air.
Right.
So it's causing turbulence. It's
Yes.
causing a rough ride.
So the turbulence, the things that you're experiencing in your relationship, it is not going to cause the divorce.
Can't
Let me
make
just
it
say
crash.
that.
Can't
It's
make
not
it
going to
crash.
end the relationship. You just have to ride it out.
Mhm.
You just have to strap up and ride it out. You got to put your seatbelt on.
Not the
Stay in your seat.
Not the turbulence.
Not the turbulence.
Lightning,
Right.
might happen.
Right.
You know,
Right.
some mechanical failure might happen.
Mhm.
Something goes in the engine. Something hard
That's
or large
good.
goes through the
Something
engine and
that's
causes
not
it to fail.
an uninvited
Yes,
thing.
an uninvited outside
That's
thing.
right.
And that's
Outside
why
element.
we talk about what's called the ABCs.
Mm-hmm.
The ABCs,
That's right.
abuse and cheating. Those are the three things.
Those
We
are
talk about
outside
abuse,
forces.
We talk about physical abuse. We talk
Mhm.
about sexual abuse, drugs, alcohol, those kinds of things, and any type of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Outside forces. That's when you have to look. You got to make some different decisions.
Right.
Now your conversation,
Mhm.
and that's word.
But that's not turbulence.
No, that's not.
Those
turbulence.
are outside entities that are uninvited guests that find their way in through
causing
you.
mechanical
Mhm,
failure.
through you.
Yes.
Or through something that you're doing.
Yes.
So the same negative things that you're spreading those negative seeds about your spouse to other people outside of your home, guess what you just did? You just opened the door.
You were your own enemy.
Yes.
You're your own enemy. You planted a seed.
You
in some
planted
soil.
it. Sure did.
You planted a seed in some soil that you chose.
Mm-hmm.
You picked that soil
Mhm.
on purpose. You went in your phone and you found that contact and you text or called that person on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You did that.
What's the scripture that says about tearing down your own house with your own mouth? I don't know the scripture, but I know it's there. How we can tear down our own household with the things that we say. We have to be very, very careful.
It's funny that you say that because as you were talking, I was going to say, thinking about whether I was going to say this or not because it sounds self-righteous, but I don't call people when it comes to our marriage.
Mm-mm.
I don't call people until Kim and I have had a chance to ride through
Mhm.
whatever's taking place and to get to our true and real conversation. And we're going to give you some tips tonight,
Mhm.
some skills, some tools tonight on how to have that conversation
Yeah.
and the phases that it goes through. But I don't call anyone. I don't,
Mm-mm.
my mom, no one.
No.
I know one. I don't know.
I never did either.
No, I don't know any marriages that I would want to pattern after.
Come on.
With our specific things. Now, there's some marriages that I want to pattern after, globally. There's great things that they've done, longevity, the ways that they work together, some things that, like my youngest son and his wife, how they will not make a decision without talking.
Yes, you do.
So, what am I saying? There's the apple pie, and I don't know, so don't laugh at me. So I know you need apples, and I know you need sugar, and you probably need some cinnamon, maybe some nutmeg.
Butter.
I don't know,
Butter.
some butter, some
Lemon.
Lemon.
Flour.
All these things you need. Right? So as you start to put that stuff in that mix, or however you build it, right? If Kim and I were to sit there and have the same ingredients, and we start to build that pie, I'm going to do it a little differently than her. Because she's heard of me.
Right.
And when we bake that pie, it's going to come out different. It's going to taste different, even though it's the same ingredients.
Yes.
I'm telling you that your marriage is that. That's why we said marriage simple as pie. Because it's provide, invest, and empower one another. But it's a pie.
It's a pie.
So
it's a formula,
right.
just like the PI pie.
Like 3.14, right? So we won't give it to you. It's an irrational number. Which means
number.
It goes on forever. And it never repeats itself. So what that means is that
each relationship,
even the things that we say to you, which are principles, when you apply those principles in your marriage, you're going to get a slightly different outcome.
And you should.
Than we get, and you're supposed to.
Because your relationship is your relationship.
Right.
So you can't take everything that we say
verbatim
and do it
literally.
exactly that way. No, you get the principle. You eat the meat from this,
right.
And the bones that don't work for your relationship, you don't take.
But make the pie.
But make the pie.
Make your pie.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say to
you.
Whatever it is that you want, you make.
That's right.
It's your marriage.
That's right.
It's you don't have to you don't have to look at what's going on around you or what other people may think or say or what's happening in other people's lives and marriages.
That's right.
You choose what happens in yours. You remember when we first got married? We used to say that. It's ours.
This is how we want to do it.
Yeah.
King of the castle, queen of the castle. We make the decisions.
So we're telling you that right now.
And in authority, people in authority, they know that they can change the rules. I was watching the show, oh goodness, what is it called? It's when the ladies, the three ladies were, they were very intelligent. They were engineers, and they worked on, I forget what that, Hidden Figures. I was watching Hidden Figures, and I was watching Hidden Figures and the math people. It was funny because the lady she wanted to go to school to be an engineer, and she was an African American woman, and no one had ever done that.
Right.
So she went to the judge, and they were like, the school is for Caucasian people. You can't attend. And number one, she was black, and then she put something back at him, and she was telling him all the firsts in his life.
Yes.
And so she formulated it to let him see, you've been first in your family, first to do this, first to do that. And wouldn't it be amazing if you were the first person that put a woman, an African-American woman in place? It struck his ego. He thought about it.
Right.
I'm in charge.
Right.
I can decide.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. In your relationship, you don't have to do it like your mom did it. You don't have to follow the same pattern that your dad did. Will you bring some of those things in? Yes. But guess what? You have to decide how much that fits. If it doesn't fit, then you must acquit. Or I'm going to say you must quit it. So you just cannot just put everything in there. But you have the opportunity to choose. And that's what me and Newt used to say. We used to say that all the time. So some of the strategies that we want to talk to you about for that turbulence, because we know it's going to be some. That's it. There will be turbulence. There will be rough days. But there are ways to get through it. Remember, turbulence will not wreck the plane. It won't destroy the relationship. You will if you allow outside entities to come in.
It's rough ride, and I've been on a couple planes, man, where it seemed like it dropped, some feet, right?
Yeah.
Stomach, how on a roller coaster, your stomach, and I'm like grabbing the seat, trying to be cool,
I wasn't with you. That's the day I didn't go. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Just it was some rough ones flying in and out. That one city in California, I spoke at a couple of colleges there, and I cannot remember where it was, but I had to fly. Every time you went in there, there's mountains around it.
Yeah.
and if the turbulence was crazy, right? It'll scare you.
Right. And
It'll
so
make you
even in
grab
your
hold.
relationship, that's right.
You know,
That's what you're supposed to be doing. Grabbing hold, putting
You
your
know?
seatbelt on. What's that seatbelt? The word of God.
Mhm.
You know, your faith, your belief, your
Right.
religion, your relationship,
your why.
your why.
Yes. Why
You
did I
got
do this
married.
in the first place?
Yeah.
I'm married in the first place. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, we get into a whole nother thing because we can start talking about vision. We can start talking
True.
about mission, you know, for your marriage, about the thing working together. What it is it that you're accomplishing? What is it that you're working together to do? But you know, we have some tools for you. Do you want to take a break before the tools? I mean,
Okay, I guess we should take a break before the tools. There is a song from Jonathan McReynolds that talks about I make room for you. I want you to think about that in your relationship as well as in your in your relationship with the Lord too. It says you make room for what you treasure.
right. So don't go anywhere.
Don't go nowhere. We're
Usually
gonna
when the
give you
song comes on, we see the numbers go down.
Stay
on.
with us. Stay with
Stay
us.
on.
Stay with us.
Right? Stay on.
And we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, guys.
Time for what I want. I choose my priorities, and Jesus, you're my number one. So I will make room for you. I will prepare for two, so you don't feel that you can't live here. Please live in me. Oh no. I find space for what I treasure, and I make time for what I want. I choose my priorities, and Jesus, you're my number one. It's Jesus, you're my number one. So I will make room for you. I will prepare for two, so you don't feel that you can't live here. Please live in me. I will make room for you. I will prepare for two, so you don't feel that you can't live here. Please live in me. Live in me, yeah. Please live in me, God. I will make room for you. My will, my way, my ego, my plan, my schedule, my itinerary. Oh, see, I will make room for you. My habit, my attitude, whatever it is that's not like you, whatever it is, you can move it all. Oh, see, I will make room, yeah. You're my number one.
You're listening to Launch with Kim and Dr. Newt on Praise.fm.
Welcome to Launch with Kim and
Dr. New.
Hey guys, yes. Hello Vashi. Hello.
I know what note
She
to
says she loves that song. Me too.
What? Launch with Kim and
No,
Dr.
she's talking
New.
about the song from Jonathan. Look, he just want to sing this. Hi, Chia. Cheetah Sweetness, thank you. God bless you. We're so glad that you stopped back by. We know we were having a little bit of issue there, but we're so glad that you came back. All right, so we were talking about
Welcome back to Launch.
yes, with Kim and Dr. New.
Yes,
Welcome
yes.
back to
It was
Launch.
something I want to say. Oh, we haven't said this in a minute. On the show, actually, we said off the show, but not on the show.
Okay, well let's say
We
it.
need to say it on the show. Listen, if you have a show that you would like to host,
Mm-hmm.
then you could host your show on the same platform, praise.fm,
Uh-huh.
Prayz.fm. You can inbox that, I believe, or email it
To Lady Rain,
to Lady Rain.
Dr. Alicia. Okay?
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
And she will
Middleton. Lorraine.
she will contact you back and let you know what it is you have to do. This particular radio station is growing,
Mm-hmm.
and right now I know it's at least 3 continents
She said, I like
where
those
they have
songs.
active shows and active broadcasts. So if you have a word, you have a message, you have a seed to plant, then here's a way you can plant it in different fields that you otherwise would not have been able to.
Absolutely.
So praise, Prayz.fm.
All right. So we were talking already, as you guys know, Newton and I are marriage ministers. This is just an area that we feel passionate about, that God has given us. And if there's nothing, I've never been so sure about any area of my life as this. I know this is something God has given us. So we're here to share with you just some of the things that we experienced, how we did it. But keep in mind, as we said before,
Right.
you have your own ingredients in your relationship, and you have to apply it based upon the need of you and your covenant. Okay, so just take what we're giving you and apply it as needed. You know, PRN.
Right.
So we were talking about turbulence when things are a little rough in your relationship. Newt made it clear that turbulence will not wreck the plane.
Will not.
Okay, so you just have to put your seatbelt on,
Hold on.
hold on,
Right.
and ride through it. But we have some tools to help you to get through it.
So Kim had also talked about how when things are going on in relationships, a lot of times we like I used to say, I always refer to my dad because he used to say a lot of stuff. You know, you get your butt on your shoulders. Is how he used to say it.
Talking
you know?
a lot.
And so you know, you get your butt on your shoulders and you go in your room and she goes in hers and now you have this conversation going on in your mind, and you talk to yourself and justified your half of whatever took place because you're looking out,
And
not in, and we're operating on the feelings that we choose
Yes.
to adopt and to absorb
That make us
because
feel
of
good.
whatever just took place, right? So the only way to fix that, the only way to change that, to resolve, I like that word, our son-in-law Rocky, resolve that is to communicate.
Yep,
To communicate.
absolutely.
Yeah, that cannot happen alone. So I got it. Before we tell you the skills we want to tell you. So I come from a house and a family where my mom and dad, love them dearly, are the masters of changing the subject.
That is a fact.
So I come from a household where there were a lot of issues and a lot of things. I mean, layers. If you ever see sediment, you know, layers, and you can see all the different layers.
Rock guy, rock.
Yeah,
in
it's
the sediment.
just like that was kind of the family that I grew up in. You just create another layer. You put something on it, So you can't see it, you start over. You put something on it, you can't see it. And that's kind of, and you didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my family, growing up. And so
I actually saw it. New showed it to me. If he wanted to ask his mom a question about something, she'd be like, yes, sir. She changed the subject and start talking about something else. And it was so funny, and nobody did nothing.
Nobody says nothing.
See, in my family, I would be like, Mom, you heard me ask you a question.
Right. So we had two different cultures going on, So to communicate was a tough skill. Like, it's still tough for me. There's like, I'll still go to the edge and then back up, because there's things that come up. There's pride, there's guilt, there's all kinds of things that happen in me when all I really got to do is talk, because we're on the same team.
Exactly.
And
I'm not the one that's letting it go easy.
Right.
So if you know me, you know I'm like, well, what happened? Well, why you feel like that? Well, what's the matter? Well, he'd be like, I don't know, Kim, it's okay. I'm like, it's not okay. You haven't told me. I'm still asking you the question.
Right.
Like, that's me. So I have to learn, okay, give them a minute to process.
So 45 minutes later, while we're still in this place, I start to finally realize, okay, what is it about me that's not happening right here? Why we can't get past this bump? Because she's not gonna let this go. She's not gonna let this go. And you can't. It's not 523. That's my mom's address. It's not 523. It's not gonna just go away.
No.
Time won't. You can't just let time happen.
That's right, Bashi.
And then the conversation change, and you're on to the next topic. That's not happening here. And not to get into my mom and dad's marriage or anything, they would have been married 64 years.
They did it though.
Christmas, the day after Christmas. My dad passed, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it would have been 64 years. But nevertheless, I'm
I don't
trying
know
to
how
say
they
to
did
you,
that. They did that thing. They did that. That was their ingredient.
Yes, it worked for them.
See, it worked.
It worked for them. But it taught us that, so I've had a divorce, both my sisters have had divorces, so just we want to say to you, communication. I'm telling you all that in a funny way.
That's what Lynn Webb said. Communication is the key.
You've got to.
Got to have it. That's right, Lynn.
Only way. This is like the turbulence. You've got to go through it.
Yeah.
There's no way around that turbulence. They just cut through it. They see it on the radar, and they cut through it.
Yes, they go
that's
through
kind of the way
it.
you have to do it. So I'm going to give you two tools.
I don't know if we'll get through all two, but let's get started.
So the first tool is more of a principle, right? So it's if you ask me, how do you communicate effectively with your spouse despite whatever's going on, then how is how. How is how you do it.
Yes, it is.
HOW. So HOW is an acronym. If you don't know what an acronym is, it's a word where each letter means another word. So how, HOW, H means
honest.
O means
open.
And W means
willing.
The only way.
That's it.
That you're going to move past any wrinkles, any turbulence, any molehills, any mountains, any disagreements, any differences in culture, any arguments, any dislikes, likes, the only way in your marriage, when you're trying to, and this works in other areas as well, but it applies directly in your marriage, is first you got to get honest.
Yes, got to be honest with why you feel the way you feel, how you're feeling. Remember those questions I asked earlier? Why do you feel like you feel? Why do you want what you want? Why are you? Those are the things. Get honest about that.
Right.
This is how I feel. This is why I just do.
So now saying that is easy.
It is.
I can't even. You got to read the book because we put some examples in the book. But I can't even say it to you. However, whatever words I use, I'm going to downplay that honest.
Yeah, because that honest part ain't no joke.
I can't tell you how difficult and how deep it gets. Because when you start to get honest about one thing, like, why is this bothering me?
Yes.
Then something else shows up.
It's another, you're going deeper.
Now you got to answer that question or ask yourself that question. Or
thanks, Lynn, for typing it in.
It now opens up another door. Like, well, that's what I learned from my parents. Well, why did they do that? What was good or what not good?
Yeah.
So it didn't. That honest thing is the word is introspection.
Yes.
Introspection. So if you look up that word introspection, I ain't gonna tell you what it means. Google it, look it up. Introspection, INTRO, spection, FEECTION. Look it up. that introspection, that word honest,
That's it.
it frees you. It's a life changer.
Mm-hmm.
It just moves you from where you are
Mm-hmm.
to whatever's next.
Absolutely.
Not just in your relationship.
No, but in your life.
Yes.
Just
Changes your
being
life.
honest. And a lot of people say, well, I am honest. I'm not a liar. You get offended about
talking
that.
about lying.
We're not saying you lying. We're saying honestly,
Honestly,
why do you
yes.
feel the way you feel? And many times you might say, I don't even know why I feel like that.
Right.
I just do.
Right. Which means now you got to ask. You start asking questions. You start
Yes.
peeling back layers. You start. So that introspection piece, and it's not something it doesn't take 5 minutes.
That's a lifetime.
Yes. It's so it's you
Yeah.
have to get by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or either, you know, sometimes I do it with Kim, you
Mhm.
know, and we just start
We
talking.
start
I was
talking.
feeling this, and
Mm-hmm.
this happened, and I don't know why. And next thing you know, it's an hour later.
Yeah.
And so honest is the first step. You've got to get honest
Honest.
with what's going on.
With
Why do I feel
yourself
this? Yes.
And with your spouse.
Why is this a trigger?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this bother me? What am I trying to accomplish? Am I trying to control? Am I trying to win? You know, it just get honest first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's an issue,
Yeah. There's an issue.
and it's probably me.
An issue. The issue is you.
Right?
Okay.
The second step after the honest, we said how. If you remember, the O is
Open.
open.
You see
Open.
that?
Open,
Open means not closed. Let me
Yep.
just say that first of all.
not closed. Yep. No distractions.
Yep.
No inhibitors.
No hidden agenda.
Nothing in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just wide open, vulnerable.
Visible.
Just open.
Mm-hmm.
Open to what? I am open to information.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to another opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm open to more information
I'm open to see what other people see in me
in me or about me.
or about me.
Right. So,
That's hard.
but there can't be a filter on it.
Right.
It has to be open. It has to be wide open, no net.
Mm-hmm.
So that means no voices from those people who are your those confidants that make you feel good right now. So it's you can't get that information.
Right.
That information is going to be biased, and if you seek that information, then you're operating into something that's called confirmation bias.
Mm.
Confirmation bias means you'll only listen to people who are going to say what you already think is true.
Right.
Right? So you don't want to get too open. If you're doing that, then you're not being open.
You're not being open.
You know, you're not being
Mhm.
open. So you got to get honest first. Do the work to get honest. Then open.
That's right. Thank you, Pastor Robert Clay. He went and looked it up and typed it in.
Type in introspection. Yep.
Thank you, Pastor Clay.
Enables the one to look within themselves.
That's right.
Right. And then the third step after that openness,
Mhm.
after you open the gate and you've allowed the flood of information, the flood of opinion, the flood of whatever else
And know
come
this,
your way.
guys, that as Newt mentioned with the H, that I'm on his team. He's on my team.
Mhm.
Not trying to hurt
Not
him.
trying
He's
to
not
hurt
trying to hurt me. When you're open, you have to remember that too. That when Kim tells me or Newt tells Kim about what they see, their opinion, I have to know this man really loves me. He's not trying to hurt me.
Right.
And he has to know that this woman loves me. She's not trying to hurt me.
I'll give you
Yes.
2 examples. I played basketball as a youngster, and I was never a good shooter. I never had a good shot, right? So my coach, when we'd be in the game, I had super defense, and I was really good passer, and I could drive, but
Rebounds.
the shot wasn't happening, right?
Mhm.
So wasn't taking me out the game. It's a close game. We're at the end of the game. We're in the timeout. He was saying the timeout, when you swing the ball, watch the clock, make sure it doesn't land with Newt. Because chances were, if I shot the ball, I was going to miss. Now, he would then say, unless it's a clear drive, because he knew I could drive and make the layup.
Mm-hmm.
But he would say it. Now, at first, it used to hurt my feelings, right? But one of my teammates said, well, it's true. You can't shoot. And I started paying attention. I was like, well, I do miss a whole lot more than So what I'm trying to say,
That's
that
good.
my point is,
Coach wasn't trying
the
to hurt
coach
you.
trying to win the game.
Mhm.
He wasn't trying to hurt me. He was
Right.
trying to win the game.
For the team, for the
Yes.
greater good.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the same thing in your relationship.
Yes.
They're not trying to hurt you.
Mhm. Or Ernie used to do this. Ernie used to do this. The tenors. If we were flat, he would stop everything.
So Ernie Saunders was a great friend to New and me.
Great friend.
And he was an anointed,
Yes.
gifted, talented
Musician.
and
Right.
singer.
Mhm.
So, I mean, just amazing.
Right.
So-
But if we were flat, he'd stop and say, y'all flat. Oh, it's all kinds of stuff he would say. If we do it again. If we couldn't do it again, he'd make us each sing.
To see where the flat was
Right.
coming from.
Well, one person would start, then the next person would add on.
Oh.
He would make us sing all, So when that next person add on, he like, it's you.
Issue.
It's you. And then he'd teach them the note. He'd
Mhm.
tell you how to round your mouth or how to breathe or what that you need to do or what are you thinking. So my point is that he wanted it all sound good because it's his name on the choir.
And it was for the greater good of the
Yes.
whole stuff.
Yes.
The purpose of the group
Yes.
was so that you sang well.
So you got to be open.
Yes. And know
Honest
that they're not trying to hurt
and
you.
open, honest and open. And the next thing is willing. You got to be willing.
That's the part.
Got to be willing. So you can be honest, or you can do all kinds of introspective work all day long and get a whole list of stuff. And you can be open and take all the filters away and get more information and create a whole nother list of stuff you need to do.
Yeah, you could be.
But if you ain't
willing.
and I'm saying not, if you ain't
willing.
willing to
Willing.
do the work,
Yeah. Then you just wasted a whole lot of time, a whole lot of paper, a whole lot of lists, and a whole lot of information.
So I know a lot of people. One in particular, I'm just in my mind. I'm not gonna say their names.
Mm-mm.
But and I'm not saying it's not a negative thing. It's just this person's trait. I'm not saying it negatively. But if you're telling them something to help them, before you finish, they already start answering you.
Mm. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Da-da-da-da-da, right? But you didn't let me finish. You're not even willing to change. That tells me you're not willing because you think you know it. You got it all.
Uh-huh.
Right? So that honest and that open and willing, why the reason I said is they go together.
Mm-hmm.
They go together. Without one, the other is null and
It's
void.
well, it doesn't make a word.
Right.
Just like the
make
whole word
whole.
how.
It
Yeah.
makes it whole.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, that's what you did. You held it up.
Right.
You held it up.
So
you
need
need
wow.
all
I like that.
3 letters.
Yes.
You need the whole acronym, and you need to apply each of them in order for change to occur.
So our time is almost up.
So we talked about turbulence today. If you're having turbulence, don't think it's strange that you're falling into diverse temptations or different things are happening to you. This is the trying of your faith. This
Yes.
is what's supposed to happen.
Yes.
The enemy has just declared war on relationships and
Yes.
marriages. He's
Yes.
trying to hurt you.
Yes.
He's trying to stop your relationship. He's trying to create the statistics and
Yes.
make things worse because he knows the two together can do what? Chase 10. There's so much
Yes.
more that you can do together
Yes.
than independently. And once you've made that covenant, that means if he can break the covenant, he is attacking God. That's his purpose, is to destroy whatever
Destroy
the
anything
Father
that God
already
put in place.
established.
Yep.
He is in war with him, not with you, but he's in no competition because he already lost.
He already knows what
The thing is that you now have a responsibility to look at that turbulence and to identify, I know what this is.
Right.
And now that I know what it is, I have some tools that I can apply.
Right.
How do I do it? Honest, open,
and willing.
and willing.
And remember, it's work.
It's work.
It's work. I'm not saying it in a negative way. So here's what we want you to do this week. If you have your launch pads out, we want you to get either 3 sheets of paper or get a piece of paper and put it in 3 columns and put that H, that O, and that W, honest, open, and willing. And as an event or something comes up, I want you to get honest
With yourself. Why you feel that
and
way.
start to write down what are
Mhm.
you honest about, why you feel that way, what's going on, what are your hindrances,
Mhm.
what are you trying to accomplish, and then open
Whatever that other person has shared with you
Yeah.
about it.
or information you heard
Mhm.
from that preacher that you might not always listen to,
Mhm.
outside of whoever it was, or that book
Mhm.
you read, or some other information,
Right.
wherever it came from. Open. What are you open to that's
Mhm.
different than what you usually would have heard? And now
Willing.
willing. What am I willing to do?
Yep.
How am I going to accomplish this thing? What am I willing to do so that we can fix or resolve this issue? So that's your homework for this week. You can apply that in every area of life.
Yes, you can.
But we're talking about marriage right now. So I think it's a whole lot easier to do it with your marriage because you have someone to partner with.
Yep.
Our time is
Our
up.
time is up, and you want to say your little special thing? We hope that you grabbed
Oh, we hope you grab at least one morsel
one morsel,
that you can take with you
3,
to educate yourself,
motivate yourself, and help yourself grow.
Because that's your responsibility.
That's right.
And as always, make it a great day or not, because that choice is always, my friends, it's always yours.
Don't forget to go on Amazon and grab Baggage Claim from Kim and Dr. New.
When you come back next week, we'll talk about the 4 R's, which is another way to communicate.
All right, friends. Bye-bye. God bless you. We love you. Yes, you got homework, Lynn.
You are tuned in to that Praisey station. Praise.fm.